Hello, I'm Eloise and this is my channel, and for today's video we are doing summer glowy makeup that's going to last you all day. Whether you're sweating beside the pool at a pool party, you're going to an all-day wedding abroad, or in the hot summer sun, this is the summer skin for you. It is going to last you a lifetime. So if you are struggling with making your makeup last in these summer months, not that it looks like summer outside, but if you're going away abroad, you want your makeup to last in the humidity, then make sure you keep on watching. What do you think about my hair? So I've had it, I don't know if you can see, I've had it all chopped off. I mean, I probably had about that much chopped off, but it was all looking bratty. I've had a new hair colour put in, and I'm feeling it. If you are interested in these eyes, I'm currently filming 2 videos in one day, so I get a backlog because I'm so organised. But yeah, this video would have been posted up last week, so I'll make sure I put the link in the description box down below. But shall we get started? Summer skin. Everyone wants the glow, but everyone wants it to last, and everyone knows dewy skin does not last. So we just have to mimic the appearance of dewy skin that is gonna last. So I'm obviously gonna start off with my Desi Spa Magic Sun Safe Oil-Free Facial Gel in SPF 50, because obviously we're gonna be outside. This makeup is gonna be perfect for pool party, Ibiza vibes. A lot of people have probably already been and gone to Ibiza, so I'm late in the game. But yeah, this is absolutely a must. It's a must all year round, but particularly in the summer months. So I've spoken about this product so many times. It acts as a primer as well, because it's got that beautiful smoothing feeling to it. So it's not only going to smooth over any texture, any pores or anything like that, but also keep your makeup on longer. So basically your skin is like a sponge. Anything you put on top, it's gonna drink it up. But if you do feel like your face is absorbing your makeup and it's going patchy throughout the day, a primer is a really good product to use, because it is basically that barrier between your skin and the foundation, so your skin is not going to absorb the foundation. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Anyway, let's move on to foundation. So a lot of people really enjoy a full coverage, so I'm going to show you a full coverage that is going to last all day and give you that summer glow. So I'm going to be using my holy grail. I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear. If you don't know, if you haven't watched my videos before, you won't know my love obsession with this product. It is the only product I have found in recent times that lasts on my skin. It does not settle into any of my fine lines or anything like that, but just gives me the most gorgeous glow. So it goes on kind of matte, like a demi matte, and then throughout the day, if my oils come through, it doesn't make me look greasy, it just makes me look healthy and glowy and juicy and gorgeous. So I tell everyone about this product and I absolutely love it to pieces. I tend to do 1 pump, but if you want a fuller coverage, go for 2 pumps. So I'm gonna go for 2 today to give you that real full coverage, girl. And to build up the coverage even more, because a lot of people like that full coverage, we are gonna be going for the Optical Blurring Brush by Urban Decay, because it's nice and densely packed, so it's gonna pack on that product, but also blend it out because it's got those rounded edges as well. I haven't used this brush in such a long time. My So Eco stippling brush literally took over. Because we're going for that full coverage today, we need to pack on this product. A lot of full coverage foundations are very matte, and I find that they cake up on the skin and they just look hideous. Whereas this is just the most perfect foundation for me. I love it, love it. And I have done a wear test video on this foundation, so you can see truly how long it lasts. I believe in that video I did a full day shift. I travelled 3 hours in total for work, so an hour and a half there, hour and a half back on the tube, which is incredibly sweaty. I did a full day shift, so 8.5 hours, and it stayed for such a long time, which is why I believe it is the perfect foundation for summer, for pool parties, if you are going to a wedding, an outside wedding, an abroad wedding, anywhere you need your makeup to last in the heat or the sun, this is the foundation for you. It's great for oily skin, dry skin. I just could not recommend it enough. If you have not gone out and bought it yet, Why? How many times do I have to tell you how incredible this product is? Okay, so usually I would do one pump this foundation using my stippling brush because I feel like the stippling brush makes the product go a lot further, but I have built up to a full coverage with the optical blurring brush. And then to ensure that I never get that cakey feeling or it's settled into any of my lines, I will go over with my Real Techniques sponge just to pick up any extra product that I don't want sitting on the skin. And to me, that is flawless. Like, my skin just looks flawless. So I'm gonna take my damp Real Techniques sponge, my favorite sponge ever, and I'm just gonna go over the areas that I know I do tend to crease, and that is my forehead and around my mouth. All the foundation is gone, 2 pumps on my face right now. I'm gonna go for the Makeup Revolution Concealing Define in the shade C5. This isn't really a brightening shade, but I have been really enjoying a matching shade for underneath my eyes lately because it helps to cover your dark circles better than a lighter concealer. Lighter concealers can tend to leave that grey cast under your eyes still, but I will go in with a lighter colour for the rest of my face. So this is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer in the shade Light Warm. I love this concealer. I've just recently fell back in love with it because it's just such a creamy texture and it's great for underneath the eyes as well. I'm putting that in the centre just because that is generally where we get a little bit more oily throughout the day. So an extra layer of product is really going to help to keep the makeup on for much longer. So I'm just going to blend that out with my sponge. Although we're adding an extra layer, we don't want too much product on the skin. So majority of it is going to be soaked up by the sponge but then bounced back into the skin. So it's never going to leave too much product on the skin. And then I'm going to wait for that to cook a little bit longer so it builds up that coverage. And I'm just going to set the centre of my face. So I just use any bog standard powder. You know me, I'm not too fussed. I'm using the Maybelline Matte Maker. I really like a pressed powder for most of my face. And I'm going to take just powder brush that's quite densely packed and just push that into the skin. Anywhere that I get oily or I tend to crease or makeup comes off my face. So that's my nose, the centre of my forehead, my chin, my jaw. Like I said, I don't know why, but makeup tends to come off there and around my mouth. And then the rest of the skin, I'm gonna leave because I still want that health to come through. And you're going to be putting powder products around this area anyway. I just don't want to load up too much on the powder. We're obviously going to be doing bronze around the forehead and the cheeks and the jaw, blush and highlight. So that area is going to be set eventually, but with those kind of products. So now I'm going to take my sponge and blend out the under eyes. And for the under eyes, I like to take my pressed powder and then go over the top with my loose powder. Sometimes if I go straight in with loose powder, I don't know, sometimes it just goes a bit funny, so I like to set it and then bake it for a little bit. I know, Eloise baking, what the hell? But I find it actually works for my under eyes because I was really struggling with creasing under my eyes for a while until I started doing that. And my God, was I wrong, it works. So I'm gonna take my pressed powder, make sure that I don't have any creasing underneath my eyes and just set under there. So you can see I'm looking at pretty matte in the centre of my face. I'm just going to take my Maybelline Fit Me loose powder that I got from New York in the shade Fair Light. And I'm just going to take the other side of my sponge, take a tiny bit, literally the smallest amount, and just pop that underneath my eyes. And that just helps with further creasing. Because especially if you're in the sun, your products on your face are going to warm up, especially underneath the eyes, and that's when you're going to get the creasing that you don't want. So I literally only leave that under there for about 30 seconds. I feel like any longer it's a bit unnecessary. And then you can feel under there, yep, it's feeling pretty matte. If it didn't, you could add more powder. Now, because we've got so much powder on our skin, I am personally not a fan of that. If you're fine with that, skip this next bit. But I just like to soak my skin in a little prep spray just to make sure everything's melted back together and gives that real skin-like finish. So I'm going to take the MK B6 prep spray. This is incredible, this prep spray. If you have oily skin, use it before your makeup, after your makeup. in the evening, in the morning as part of your skincare routine. This is really going to help to reduce oil production throughout the day. Also over time is going to help with texture, minimizing the appearance of pores, and also it calms down any redness. So if you are someone who gets quite red throughout the day, B6 is incredible. I'm going to use it to melt the powder back into my skin. Give it a good old shake. And I feel like that really helps with my under eyes because I can feel a little dry after all that powder. And just makes my skin feel a little bit more hydrated. And that's a really nice microfine mist actually, so it doesn't feel like your skin is getting too drenched. This is where we add the glow. I like to add my highlighter before my bronzer. If you haven't watched any of my videos before, you won't know that I do this, but the reason I like to do it this way is because a bronzer blends better into a highlighter than a highlighter does into a bronzer. If you put your highlighter after you've put your bronzer on, I feel like you get that real streakiness and it's very obvious that you've got highlighter and bronzer on. I want them to melt together. So I'm actually going to be using the Urban Decay Afterglow palette. I don't believe you can get this anymore, but if you've got it, go and use it because it is such a fab product. I've just found this back in my collection and I am absolutely loving it. You can see my two favourite shades are these two. I like to start off with this one to blend into my actual skin tone and then pinpoint with the high points with this one. So I'm going to take Side Piece, which is this one here, on a Japonesque 721 brush. And I've not been bringing it up in this area recently. I feel like it just looks really nice when you've just got it here. And I bring it fairly far forward, so literally to about there. And then I go on my nose. I always love to do the tip of my nose and then just up here. And then also above the brow. And then a little bit on the chin. And then to pinpoint, I'm going to use the shade Bliss. But I feel like that's pretty intense already. But this is going to give you that glow without having that dewy foundation that isn't going to last as long. Now for some bronzer. I've actually been using two bronzers at the moment. I feel like the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, which I've been absolutely loving, is sometimes a little bit too cool toned. I want something a little bit bronzier, especially now that I'm getting a bit more tanned. So then I go in with my NYX matte bronzer in the shade medium, just to warm it up a little bit. Can you see the difference in both the bronzers? So I go in with my Physicians Formula first, and I'm using the Zoeva 90 brush, Grand Powder Brush, and I start by stamping this into that area because, as we know, we did not powder this area here. So stamping it on first is going to avoid any of that patchiness, because if you've got a slightly wet foundation and you start to blend on top of it, it can sort of give you that patchy, sort of muddy finish as well. So bronzing is much different to contouring. Bronzing goes onto the cheekbone rather than underneath. We're sort of sculpting the face with the bronzer. And you can see that, hopefully on camera, I've got that highlight there, but when you put the bronzer over the top, it just makes it look so much more natural. So much more. And then I just like to take a little bit on the jaw, just the smallest amount on that nose. And I feel like when you put bronzer on your nose, that just brings the whole look together, because generally the sun hits the nose, the forehead, and on here. So yeah, can you see the difference in this side and this side? It definitely looks more sculpted, but a lot more bronzy as well. I just love the size of this brush as well. So massive, so you can get it done quick. Okay, now that that bronzer's down, actually it's quite warm, isn't it? I'm just gonna add the smallest amount of the NYX one, just to really warm everything up. Just get my neck a little bit more. You have to pay special attention to the neck, because obviously it doesn't get as tanned as everywhere else because your head is basically shielding it. So yeah, make sure you get that neck, girl. Now for some blush. I have been reaching for Milani Luminoso for ages now. And I'm just going to take my Real Technique, because I think this is a powder brush, I'm not sure. But I feel like this blush just adds to the glow, but not too much. So I'm just going to smile and pop that on my cheekbone. And I actually really like to bring this up quite high up. I feel it lifts the face. And you can see it just adds to that glow. And you can take a bit on the nose as well. Oh, love my skin right now. So the last thing, of course, and it would be rude not to, is to set with the All Nighter Setting Spray. Now this will make your makeup last. This is the product that will make your makeup last. So this sets your makeup for up to 16 hours. It ain't going nowhere. So let's do it. Let's give it a good old shake. Head back, let the mist fall on your face. And that last step is just gonna finally melt everything back together. And I just like to go over the top. You don't have to do that, you don't have to press it in place, but I just find I like to. So I'm gonna nip off, finish my eyes, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the finished skin. I am obsessed. Look how glowy I am. Look at my little apples, my cheeks, I love it. I feel like a glowing goddess ready for a pool party. I don't know about you, but if you're going on holiday this year, whether it's for a wedding, pool party, whatever it is, this is the skin for you. It's gonna last you a lifetime. You could probably sleep in it and wear it the next day. Saves your makeup, right? But yeah, if you are interested in these eyes, I will make sure to link the video down below and also put it in the cards for you guys. You could literally switch up any of these colours if you're not confident wearing pinks and burgundies. Go for smoky browns and golds. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure you give it a huge thumbs up, subscribe and all that jazz. I'm Eloise, this is my channel, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.